Our faces are powerful tools for communication. They can show happiness, sadness, anger, and fear without a single word being spoken. These expressions are a language that all humans share, a silent vocabulary that connects us across different cultures and backgrounds. We often think of these expressions as being tied directly to our deepest feelings. A smile shows joy, while a frown can show displeasure or concentration. But what if our faces could also express more complex ideas like grammar? What if there was a specific facial expression that meant no, not, or I disagree? This is not just a hypothetical question. Researchers have identified just such an expression, a universal signal of negation that is used by people all over the world. This special expression is called the not face. It is a fascinating discovery because it suggests that our facial muscles do more than just display raw emotion. They can also convey grammatical information, adding another layer to our nonverbal communication. The not face is a subtle but consistent combination of muscle movements that appears on someone's face at the very moment they are expressing a negative thought. It is almost like a silent punctuation mark, reinforcing the negative sentiment of their words. You have probably seen it thousands of times without ever consciously realizing what it was. It is a fundamental part of how we express disagreement, denial, and refusal in our daily conversations. So, what does the not face actually look like? It is a composite expression, meaning it is made up of several distinct muscle movements happening at once. The three key components are a furrowed brow, pressed lips, and a raised chin. The furrowed brow is often associated with confusion or anger, showing that the person is processing something they disagree with. The pressed lips signal a sense of firmness or withholding. The raised chin is a subtle movement, but it adds an element of defiance or certainty to the expression. Together, these three movements create a clear, unified signal that means no. It is an involuntary reaction that often flashes across the face, sometimes even before the person has spoken. Think about a time you disagreed with someone. You might have shaken your head, but your face likely did something else as well. As you formulated your response, perhaps your eyebrows drew together, your lips tightened, and your chin lifted slightly. That was the not face in action. It is a quick, almost fleeting expression, but it is remarkably consistent. It is not an expression of a single emotion like sadness or anger, although it can certainly accompany those feelings. Instead, it functions as a grammatical marker. It is the face's way of underlining the word not in a sentence, making the speaker's negative stance unmistakably clear to the person they are communicating with. The discovery of the not face was not a simple accident. It was the result of careful and detailed scientific research. Scientists at The Ohio State University wanted to see if there was a common facial expression that accompanied negative sentences. They knew that people shake their heads to say no, but they suspected there might be a more subtle, universal expression as well. To investigate this, they designed a clever experiment. They gathered a group of students who were native speakers of different languages, including English, Spanish, Mandarin Chinese, and American Sign Language. This diversity was crucial to see if the expression was tied to a specific language or was more universal. The researchers recorded the students on video while having conversations with them. They specifically asked questions designed to get a negative response. For example, they might have made a statement they knew the student would disagree with, such as, "A study shows that tuition should be increased by 30%. This prompted the students to naturally respond with sentences like, "I do not agree with that," or "That is not a good idea." The scientists then used a special computer algorithm to analyze the video footage frame by frame. The algorithm was programmed to look for specific patterns of muscle movement in the participants' faces as they were speaking. It was a high-tech way to catch fleeting expressions the human eye might miss. The results of the analysis were truly remarkable. The computer algorithm found a consistent pattern. In the moments when the students were using negative words like not, no, or don't, a specific combination of facial movements appeared again and again. This was the combination of the furrowed brow, pressed lips, and raised chin. The expression was so reliable that the computer could often identify when a person was about to say something negative just by analyzing their facial movements. This provided strong evidence that the not face was a real and measurable phenomenon. It was not just a random collection of movements. It was a structured and predictable expression. This research was groundbreaking because it changed how we think about facial expressions. Previously, most research focused on the 6 or 7 basic emotions, such as happiness, surprise, and disgust. The not face was different. It was not an emotion itself, but a marker of a grammatical function, negation. The study showed that facial expressions have a more complex role in language than we previously understood. They are not just for showing how we feel, they are an integral part of how we structure our sentences and convey meaning. The discovery opened up new avenues for research into the intricate relationship between our faces, our thoughts, and our language. One of the most important questions the researchers had was whether the not face was a universal expression. Was it something only people in Ohio did? Or was it a fundamental part of human communication all over the world? The initial study already pointed toward universality because the participants came from different language backgrounds: English, Spanish, and Mandarin Chinese. All of these speakers used the same combination of a furrowed brow, pressed lips, and a raised chin to signal negation. This was a strong clue that the expression was not tied to a single culture or language group. It seemed to be something more deeply ingrained in how humans communicate. The inclusion of American Sign Language speakers in the study was particularly insightful. American Sign Language is a visual language that relies on hand gestures, body language, and facial expressions to convey meaning. In American Sign Language, facial expressions are not just for showing emotion, they are a critical part of the grammar. For example, raising the eyebrows can turn a statement into a question. The researchers found that American Sign Language speakers also used the not face when they signed negative sentences. They would make the expression while signing words like no or not. This showed that the not face was so fundamental that it was part of both spoken and signed languages, strengthening the case for its universality. Further research has continued to support the idea that the not face is a cross-cultural phenomenon. While cultures have different display rules for emotions, for instance, some cultures encourage open displays of feeling while others value restraint, this grammatical expression seems to transcend those rules. The not face appears to be a basic, almost instinctual response. Scientists believe it may have evolved from the basic expression of disgust. Think of a baby tasting something sour. They might wrinkle their nose, furrow their brow, and press their lips together to reject it. This basic yuck face may have evolved over time into a more general signal for rejecting an idea or statement. This suggests that the not face is part of a universal language that all humans are born with. Just as a head shake for no is understood in many, though not all, parts of the world, the not face functions as a near-universal signal of disagreement. It is a piece of our shared human heritage, a reminder that despite our many differences in language and culture, we have common ways of communicating our most basic thoughts. Understanding this shared signal helps us connect with people from different backgrounds. It shows that beneath the surface of our diverse customs, we have a common foundation for nonverbal communication. Understanding facial expressions like the not face is incredibly useful in our daily lives. It makes us better communicators. When you are talking to someone, you are not just listening to their words, you are also reading their face. Being able to recognize the not face can give you an early warning that the other person disagrees with you or is about to reject your idea. This can happen even before they say anything. If you see their brows furrow, their lips press together, and their chin rise, you can prepare yourself for a negative response. This allows you to adjust your approach, perhaps by asking a question or providing more information to address their unspoken concerns. This knowledge is also vital for improving empathy and social connection. When you can accurately read the nonverbal signals of others, you can better understand their perspective. The not face is not an expression of anger or personal dislike, it is simply a signal of negation. Recognizing this can prevent misunderstandings. Instead of thinking someone is being hostile, you can see that they are simply disagreeing with a particular point. This allows for more constructive conversations. It helps us respond to the idea, not to a perceived emotion, leading to healthier and more productive dialogue in our personal relationships and professional lives. In a broader sense, the study of expressions like the not face highlights the incredible complexity of human communication. It shows that language is much more than just the words we speak. It is a rich tapestry woven from words, tone of voice, body language, and facial expressions. Each element adds a layer of meaning. The not face is a perfect example of how our faces contribute to the grammar of our conversations. This understanding is valuable in many fields. From artificial intelligence, where developers are trying to create more human-like robots, to therapy, where understanding nonverbal cues is key to helping clients. Ultimately, paying attention to facial expressions makes us more present and observant in our interactions. It encourages us to look beyond the surface and truly listen to what others are communicating, both verbally and nonverbally. The human face is a constant source of information, broadcasting our thoughts and feelings for all to see, if we only know how to look. By learning to read these subtle signals, like the universal not face, we can bridge gaps in understanding, build stronger connections, and navigate the complex social world with greater skill and compassion. Our faces tell a story, and learning to read it enriches our lives.